Gradebook setup. Setting up a gradebook with a weighted grading scheme and common gradebook functions. This video will cover creating assignment groups, adding assignments to assignment groups, setting weights, and using the drop the lowest feature. If you're using a points-based grading scheme, you do not need to use weights when setting up your gradebook. As you add more assignments to your course, be mindful of the points allocated to each assignment when you're using a points-based grading scheme. In the example on the left, each individual assignment in the course has been allocated specific point values, which then accumulate in a total of 100 points. So as you add assignments to your course, keep that course total in mind as you assign those individual point values. And lastly, you may choose to use assignment groups if you're using a point-based grading scheme to organize and group like assignments within your gradebook. For weight-based grading schemes, you'll need to create assignment groups and place individual grade items in those assignment groups. Within assignment groups, you can't weigh individual assignments. However, you can use the points of the individual assignments within an assignment group to reflect those weights. As an example, on the left side here, I've got my various assignment groups and the percentages that I've set for them. And then under exams, I've got the two components that I have within my exams assignment group. I've got the final and the midterm. And I want the final to count for twice as much as the midterm within that assignment group. To do that, I've given the final 100 points and I've given the midterm 50 points. So with those point values, the final is worth twice as much as the midterm within that exam's assignment group, which in the overall grading scheme accounts for 40% of the course. So with that, be mindful of the points allocated to each assignment within a group. If you say have 10 journal assignments and you want them to be weighed equally within their assignment group, you want to ensure that the point values for all the journal assignments are the same. And then lastly, for applying the weights, this will be done in the Assignments tab of the course and not in the Grades tab, which we'll get to in the demo of setting up the gradebook. And lastly, for both a points-based grading scheme and a weight-based grading scheme, we recommend creating all the assignments for the course at the beginning of the quarter. This doesn't mean you need to set all of the relevant settings, due dates, quiz questions, but creating those assignments at the beginning of the quarter allows you to fully set up your gradebook to reflect your grading scheme. To begin setting up my gradebook setup for my course, I'll go to my assignments page. So I'll click on the assignments link in my course navigation. On the assignments page, I'll see all of the assignments that are created in my course. By default, there's an assignment group that gets created in your course. It'll just be called assignments here. So this is an assignment group. And if I scroll down, in this case, I've already created a couple assignment groups for my course. I've got my participation assignment group and my exams assignment group. Both of these already created, but I haven't added any assignments to these assignment groups. For this example course, I'm going to be using this grading scheme where I've got participation is going to be worth 10%, discussions worth 15%, journals are also going to be worth 15%, and I'm going to use the drop the lowest function. I'm going to drop the lowest one journal from that category, from that assignment group. And then I've got quizzes that are going to be worth 20%, and exams worth 40%. So to go about replicating that grading scheme, I'll begin by just creating all of those relevant assignment groups. So I've got participation and exams. I'll need a discussion assignment group. So to create an assignment group at the top of the page here, I'll click on plus group. And then here I can just enter the name of the assignment group. So I've got discussions, I'll click save. And then at the bottom here, I can see my newly created assignment group for discussions. All right, so with that, I'm going to use this already created assignment groups, this assignments assignment group, and just rename it. To do that, I'll click on the three dots here, and then I'll click on edit. And I'll just change this, and I'll make this the journals assignment. And here you'll also note when I click on those three dots, I can change the group name, and then I can also use this drop the lowest feature. So I'm going to drop one lowest score. There's also the highest score, you can ignore that. And then there's also the option to never drop a specific assignment. So if you have a series of assignments in this assignment group and you don't want the drop the lowest or highest score to apply to a specific assignment, you can add that assignment here, and this setting won't apply to that assignment. So with this, I'll click save. And you'll note I've changed that assignment group to journals. And then over here on the right, I can also see this one rule, drop the lowest score. If I added two to drop the lowest, it would say drop the lowest two scores. So with that, I'll just create my last assignment group for quizzes. So now I've got journals, I've got participation, I've got exams, discussions, and quizzes. So next, I'm going to go ahead and just organize my assignments by those categories. So what's nice in Canvas here, I can just click on these dots to the left of the assignment title and just drag them into the assignment group I'd like them to be in. So I'll move that quiz down, this quiz. The midterm I'll put in exams, the discussions. Okay, so I've got those all kind of situated, but you'll note I don't actually have an assignment in the participation assignment group. So in this example, I'm using participation as just one single assignment. It's a placeholder grade for the participation part of my grading scheme. And to create an assignment for that, I'll click here on this plus sign under the assignment group. So again, just noting that if I don't add an assignment here, when I go to enter a grade, say in the gradebook, there will be no area for me to enter a participation grade because there's no assignment here. So if you're ever wondering, I created an assignment group and I'm trying to enter a grade and I can't do that, it's likely because there's no assignment added to that assignment group. So I'll click the plus, and then I'm just going to call it participation. And again, in this case, I'm really just creating the placeholder. Some of these settings for these various assignments I'll probably set later. Just All right. So with that, I've got my various assignment groups and all of my assignments. And let's say later on I need to add an assignment. I remember I got to add that for my exams. I want to add a final. I can also click on this plus assignment. And this brings me into the full settings of creating assignment. So in this case, I want to create the final. And then if I want to add any relevant information here for the assignment, these other various settings, you'll also see that there's an assignment group setting. So when you create an assignment this way, you just want to be mindful that you set the assignment group that you want it to appear in. So in this case, the final, I'm going to put it in exams, and then it will appear in that assignment group. So I'll click Save and Publish. Oh, uh, it's going to be a file upload, save and publish. So now I'll go back to the assignments area, and now in my exams area, I've got the midterm and final. One point to note here, before I assign my weights, just one thing I'm going to consider at this point, this exams assignment group, each of these midterm and final are going to be counted the same within the category because they're both worth 100 points. However, if I want the final to be worth, say, double the midterm, what I can do is edit the midterm and make it worth 50 points. And then within the context of this assignment group, the midterm is again worth 50, whereas the final is worth 100. And that'll be reflected in the overall exam assignment group grade. So again, if you have an assignment within an assignment group that you want to be weighted more heavily than another assignment, you'll want to use an adjustment of the points to reflect that. Okay, so with my assignments in their respective categories and their assignment groups, I'll now set the weights. To do that, I'll click on the three dots in the top right here, and then I'll click on Assignment Groups Weight. And then in this pop-up window, I just check the box for weight final grade based on assignment groups. And then now I can go ahead and enter in those percentages. So 15 for journals, 10 for participation, 40, 15, and 20. And it lets me know I've got hit my total of 100. So now I'll click Save. And now I've got those percentages in each of those assignment groups. And now if I go to the Grades tab, I'll see all of those assignments as their own columns. And then if I go all the way over to the right, I'm going to see those assignment categories as well and their percentages. Also just noting that this area is flexible. So if I want to drag the participation entry to another area of the gradebook, I can do that. I can just click and drag. If I want the exams, say, to be around the exam assignments, I can drag that over. And again, just drag and drop any of those pieces to organize how I'd like it to appear. So with that, that covers the basics of setting up a weighted gradebook in Canvas.